everyone. I'm glad to be here with you today. Welcome to the webinar. Thank you very much for the great introduction, Andre. As you already know, the topic is external collaboration and networking. And what I'm trying to achieve today is basically provide you some guidance, toolkit, and insights from my experience and experience that we got together from the work on this project. And as you can see from the very beginning, this is the guidance that I'm talking about. You will receive the materials and this presentation in particular. And when you click on the links later on, I hope you find the presentation and the content useful for you. So you're going to use these links. They will take you directly to the tools. And I will start from the last sentence of the introduction, making the connection and transferring what is happening in the business world and the innovation as we know it, transferring these features to education and more particularly to schools. Because what we're trying to achieve with the whole STEAME Teacher Academy is enhance, support, equip you as teachers and trainers and stakeholders in the school education with all these tools, practical advice, materials, and everything. So now starting with the innovation imperative, something that I would like to share with you, maybe you are familiar, but I really like this quotation, is the first step, what we have to do, starting from us as individuals. Yes, we have a lot of barriers. Yes, we have obstacles in our systems. Education is very slow. The changes are very slow. However, we are the ones that can be the agents of change. And this is highlighted throughout the presentation, and I hope you will feel it. So why the innovation imperative for schools? What does it mean? Why do we need? Because we need to change. The generations that we teach people and young people that we work nowadays at the workplace or in school is we need to think and act differently because they are different. We have to start from inside out, and I will show you later what it means by particular tools. Then we have to apply diverse methods and approaches taken from different fields. I guess you are very much familiar, most of you, with the famous quotation that the mindset before used to be the lab is my world. And today we have to change this and transform it to the world is my lab. And we have to apply this every day. And I hope you agree with me. And related to this, we watch and learn from others. We exchange ideas, expertise, experience, skills, knowledge, everything. And we learn from each other. Building innovation ecosystems is actually on focus here because this is what at the end of the day we have to do by these external collaborations and networking that we're talking about. Last but not least, the nutshell of everything is the STEAME model, the STEAME education, which stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, math, and entrepreneurship, developed around the well-known STEM. We added arts and entrepreneurship. So why bother about collaboration? Just to highlight and remind ourselves, we have to grow through innovation. This is a gradual, difficult process, but this is the only way to develop. In relation to this is the second one, develop creative thinking, entrepreneurial mindset. Again, we have to collaborate with external organizations, partners, stakeholders. Combine diverse perspectives, skills, experiences, competencies. Develop skills and competencies, particularly for innovation, again, highlighting the role of business, the mindset of business, more particularly of the entrepreneurs, and of course, most of it risk-taking and being open. And last but not least, hands-on experience, both for teachers and for students. One more quotation that I think will nail down the topic is the hub of innovation that we have to develop. This is the perception of the global college for schools. I really liked it because I hope you will agree with me. This holds the essential elements, the technology, which is unavoidable nowadays, the need to educate future leaders, and all in all to drive innovation in education, which is already very important and a must. What does it mean starting from inside out? I guess you assume already. This is first and at most the internal collaboration. Before jumping outside of our organizations and looking for new connections and partnerships, we have to create the relationships, strong relationships and collaboration inside our own schools, universities, and other organizations, highlighting first the work between teachers. As I said, when we change our own mindset and when we change our own actions and orientation towards innovation, then we can drive the change for everybody else. What does it mean? We can apply easily interdisciplinary approach. Develop projects in the well-known project-based learning, for example. Student-teacher collaboration, we all know nowadays we act as mentors, facilitators, we coach students, we help them, we support them, they learn because we apply student-centered approach, we don't teach them. Teachers and the leadership of the schools and other organizations, on purpose, I put here communication because it's the first building block of the whole collaboration. And it has to be, as you can see here, the arrows, it's a two-side arrow on purpose again, because it has to be up, down, and down, up communication. And once we have all these conditions, starting again from inside, we move to outside, to our external networks and external collaboration. You will see this word ecosystem across the whole webinar and the presentation that you're seeing, and it's on purpose, because from now on, I would like us to think about the collaborations as something that needs to be sustained, not one-time happening, not contacts for something temporary, but rather something that can be monitored, further developed, and to grow, which means following a holistic approach, which is defined by alignment of efforts and goals, because we talk about strategy and strategic approach at the end of the day. And again, as you can see, the final one is to sustain these partnerships that we build. What does it mean, collaboration in the framework of STEAM? It means it's a building block of the whole process at different levels. We start with the concept of mentee and mentor for teachers, meaning pre-service teachers or student teachers and service teachers. They start collaboration within the framework at the time of certification and training. Service teachers between themselves and applying STEAM in life between teachers and business representatives, for example. Project-based learning, as you all know from your experience, it requires a lot of collaboration and building partnerships. Co-creation in innovation is something that is really important and another essential element of what we consider to be now learning and creativity plans. And here is what I'm talking about. We don't have lesson plans within our framework, and I hope you've already seen the webinar on this topic. But the main idea, the underlying hypothesis here is that in order to be student-centered, we don't teach students, they learn and they create together with us. This is the STEAME framework, moving to teachers' cooperation. As I already mentioned, entrepreneurship in STEAME is very strongly related to practical hands-on experience, or STEAME in life, days and parts of the plans, and of course, action plan, where we expect some tangible results and work on projects by students. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the main point here is to build a whole ecosystem. I know it's hard, but starting step by step, by creating first our own contacts and our own project-based learning, it is achievable. First, we build the team. Again, in the learning and creativity plans, as one example, there is a part where explicitly it is describing how many teachers and how they interact with each other and work with each other in an interdisciplinary manner. Then we move to the organization, which could be our school, our business, our university, or department. It has different variations and understandings depending on the context where we work and apply the methodology. And then we move to the top with the management and the whole learning ecosystem, building it again, block by block, step by step, level by level, 4 levels for your convenience combined here on this particular slide. But first of all, we have to foster the collaborative culture. Usually people say that this is something that has to be done by the leadership of the school, but usually, as you already know, again, this happens from the bottom-up approach. How can you foster? If we involve and communicate with the leadership all together, and it's again a must, we have to set clear goals and expectations for everyone in the process, which leads to encouraging diverse perspectives because of the various participants in this work in the first step. Then we move to open communication, as I already mentioned earlier as well. And then, last but not least, emphasize teamwork, again in a structured manner within the strategy, within the way we teach, the way we work, to encourage experimentation and risk-taking as a maybe new element to some of us, but again, important for driving innovation. And here are some models that can be applied. I'm pretty much sure you are familiar with the triple helix, but basically starting with the first level of collaboration, the basic model of triple helix, then moving to the context of the society, which means we include knowledge society, knowledge democracy, arts, artistic research, art-based innovation. And the final one, the fifth layer, is now social, ecological, environmental elements, organizations, and other structures. And here you can see in details the concepts behind this, which is the triple helix, as we all know it, the university or the academic fields, industry, and government relationships, widened further by these additional layers. I put this on purpose here just to have some kind of organizational approach and again framework that can lead us in our ways through to collaboration and again in the context of driving innovation. So this is one way to approach it. And then some examples. When we start, let's say, our roadmap and our new strategy for building networks and partnerships, we can consider and we should consider, first of all, the whole community. As I already mentioned, internally, our team, the principals, the teachers, the students of our organizations. Of course, then we go outside, we have the ministry, we have the public organizations, government agencies, we have NGOs, we have media, researchers, international organizations, as you can see them here listed all. And we have to keep informed and keep close, of course, the communities and the parents, together with the private businesses, which is a must nowadays. Let's say the least success factor to do this. So again, it's something that you can use when you start planning or developing some kind of strategy or developing a new type of learning approaches and applying, let's say, the learning and creativity plans. This is like a list that you can use as a checkpoint to see who is involved and who should be involved. And what is very important, something that I want to share with you from business practice and my experience, is I adapted this framework from the business departments to STEAME. What does it mean? The important part here are actually these clouds here or networks. The key success factor when we build these networks is to bring in people who have networks behind them. They bring the networks for us. Some kind of influential people, some kind of experts, organizations, global organizations, successful businesses around STEAME in terms of science, technology and engineering, arts, math, entrepreneurship. This is the key point here. All these networks are brought to us and our organization by these intermediary participants in the whole process. And this is the key point here. When you start building, again, going back to the idea of building teams inside, let's say if we work in faculties or departments, we can have regular meetings or communication with the main person. It could be the formal leader or the informal one, but they bring with us the networks internally. If our organization is smaller, and we're moving already outside, then it's the same idea, the same concept. We bring in people with us, because all the time I'm talking about individual approach, because this is the easiest thing to do, is bringing people who are well connected. And then we come to the point, once again, in order to have a whole ecosystem, and not one project or one-time happening or some kind of a lecture or seminar, but something more robust and substantial, we need structured approach. And guess what? The structured approach starts with planning. And not only planning, but going back to the networks. We can't just go around and bring in people and build some kind of networks or become popular on social media. We could do this, but we have to align it with the overall strategy, with the whole context that we work in and the organization. Then again, we go back to the external and internal first communication. Then we move to implementation and execution of the plan and what we have decided to do already. And the most important part is the follow-up, some kind of measurement, some kind of metrics to be applied, some kind of a new plan to sustain the whole ecosystem. First to build it and then to sustain it. And here are some I hope they're useful to you, collaboration tools that can be found online. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with all of them or most of them. Some of them could be applied internally for your regular meetings or new initiatives or generation of some kind of ideas, generation of projects, collaboration in any means internally, and then take it outside externally. Some of them, I'm pretty sure you use them also for managing projects. But what is important is, and here is a template for a practical activity that could be done at your place or when training your colleagues or other partners, is mapping the stakeholders, making some kind of a mind map, inserting some kind of your own framework and your own way of management or monitoring of the whole process, which means that you should follow up, you should search for the right contacts, again, from the viewpoint of building partnerships, having strong networks, and making some analysis what is really needed and why customized to your own organization or your purposes or maybe your project. One way, you can see here 3 links. One way to do it is just use Miro. I'm pretty sure you use it. There is a very nice guide. Here is the link again. Then you have another tool, how to create stakeholder map on Mural, and then 6 other mapping templates that you can download, you can edit, and you can modify to basically your own purposes. And what is very important as a next step is to identify particular examples, and most importantly, to identify the roles of the partners that you have as examples. I put here just a brief list for you to, to generate if it was in a workshop setting or you would like to test it and to try it. You can make a list for yourself. I can share some experience from our school. As Andrew mentioned, I'm really lucky to work here because it's innovative and very flexible school, and we have the freedom. We work a lot with entrepreneurs who come to the school as mentors for our children, for our students. Then we work with junior achievement strongly in the fields of entrepreneurship, and this is the umbrella organization. It's a global one. Maybe some of you know it, but these are just few examples that you can also think about similar examples in your own context. Service providers, technology providers, so on and so forth. But why? Who cares? We care. Because again, we need to develop partnerships. We don't do some individual tasks or meetings or irregular communication. We need to include schools, businesses, higher education institutions, research and development, the wider society. And here it's up to you to go back to the previous suggestions and, let's say, apply some of the mentioned frameworks and go around it, give your own examples. Once we have all these lists, it's just pure brainstorming, like a regular brainstorming session. You put everything somewhere, virtually or physically. Identify the partners, identify the roles, and align them with your own goals and strategy. And then, what I already mentioned, we have to monitor and to analyze these stakeholders. This is one template, it's just an example. There are many of them, and in these tools that I shared before, you can find them easily. You can fill in and you can adapt to your own purposes. Why? Because we have to cluster the stakeholders. We have some of them that need to be kept satisfied. We have one cluster or maybe 2 groups that need to be managed very closely. We have to inform some of them or keep them informed all the time and then monitor. And these are just few examples, again, as templates, which you can easily take from here and apply to your own organization, adapt them. But the main point is build this ecosystem, sustain it. But first of all, start from inside out. First, set the grounds internally within your team, within your organization, with your leadership. Then move outside and then start analyzing, monitoring, and in a way, managing the whole process. And in a sense, this is very logical, taking again the practice from businesses. small ones, startups, big corporations, they have public relations, they have customers relationships, and it's on purpose because this is how they survive. And in conclusion, I would say that our mindset should slowly start developing in this direction with innovation in mind. Because in order to grow, we can't grow alone. We need supporters, we need partners, we need somebody to exchange ideas, expertise, experience, skills, knowledge, and everything.